Welcome to my little corridor key tutorial. Don't be alarmed. This is Resolve 21's new text-to-speech AI voice I am testing out. Today we take a look at the OFX plugin for Resolve Fusion by Alex. You find the download link to it in the description. Let's get started by going to the Fusion page. In my example here, I have a Sony clip shot in S-Log3. So we need to do a few things before we can use the corridorkey plugin. Let's place a color space transform node after the media in. Now we enter the color space and gamma of our clip for the input. In my example, this is sgamut3.cine, and for the gamma S-Log3, the output settings are already what we need. Rec 709 and linear gamma. This ensures optimal results during our compositing signal chain. Linear gamma is not meant to be viewed, so we copy and paste the CST node to do another conversion right at the end. This time, we set the output to rec point 709 for both color space and gamma. The input now needs to be the same as the output of our first CST node. By doing this, we ensure that all our calculations are done in linear gamma, while still watching and delivering an image that can be viewed normally on our screen. Notice the little white dot on our media out node. This indicates we are seeing this node on viewer 2 on the right. This is the end result, which will be seen on the edit page later on. Okay, now let's add a delta keyer node. This will be our alpha hint. The corridor key needs to work properly. Connect the square output of the CST node to the yellow input of the delta keyer node. Drag the delta keyer node onto the left viewer, number 1, to see it there. In the inspector on the right, click and drag the color picker tool to sample the green from your green screen. Hit the A key while you are on viewer 1 to display the alpha channel. This will help us to fine-tune our matte. Start with the balance slider to get your foreground as white as possible. After that, switch to the third tab called Matte. Here, use the left and right points of the threshold slider to get the background as black as possible and the foreground completely white. Do not be afraid to lose details on the edges. Corridorkey will restore the fine details later on. This matte is only a rough representation of what to key and what to keep. Now we can finally add the corridorkey node. As a little tip, deselect all nodes before adding it, so it is not yet part of your signal chain. Then Shift plus spacebar and search corridorkey. The reason we do not want it to start doing something right away is that it might start with too high settings, which will take a lot of time and lock up Resolve for quite a while. Let's pick the quality setting, high, and also make sure to set the input color space to linear. Remember, we used the CST at the beginning to convert our footage into linear gamma. Now let's add our delta keyer as the alpha hint. Right-click and drag the delta keyer output on the corridorkey node. Let go, select alpha hint in the pop-up. We can now connect our CST node to the yellow input of corridorkey. It will still not start working until we connect the output of corridorkey to our second CST on the right. As you can see, the corridorkey node is now highlighted in green. That means it is currently processing. You see the result on our second viewer on the top right. Click on this viewer and hit the A key to view the alpha channel. Let's compare the results. Left screen is our rough delta keyer matte. On the right, you see the final matte corridorkey has generated. Notice that all the fine edge details have been restored. Hit the A key again to go back to our normal RGB viewer. By default, the checkbox, Recover Original Details, is checked. This ensures we do not lose quality in opaque areas of our image, no matter the quality setting. At this point, feel free to test higher quality settings. The status fields at the top show you the processing time each frame takes once it has been rendered. Here it is highly dependent on what kind of hardware you are running this one. In my case, I am on a Mac Studio with an M1 Max chip and 64 gigabytes of unified memory. As you can see, the Ultra setting took almost 43 seconds to process on this UHD clip. You can expect better performance on Windows-based system with newer RTX NVIDIA cards like the 3050 series, especially with models that have more than 6 to 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Alright, let's look at one more feature that is unique to this plugin, a feature called tiling. When enabled, this will calculate several tiles of your image internally. The tile size is defined by the quality setting. The result should be of higher quality than before. The idea is that although being a bit slower, it should still be faster than a higher quality setting in general. This might be a good compromise between quality and processing time. So instead of going for ultra quality, try high quality plus tiling and comapper the results and processing times. Okay, this should be enough to get you started. Of course, there are many more settings, but when working with clean footage, these often do not need to be tweaked. Back on the edit page, we can now put our clip on the second video track. After that, you can add any background on video track 1 underneath it. Of course, you can also do this directly on the Fusion page too. This is more common, so let's quickly look at that too. To keep it simple, we do the same thing as on the edit page just a moment ago. Add a simple one-color background to our composition. Drag the output of our corridor key node on the output of the background node. This creates a merge node, putting the result from corridor key over the background node. Then link the output of the merge node to our second CST node. To see a difference on the edit page, let's quickly change the background color to more of a yellow. And there it is, our complete composite shot, keyed with corridor key and combined with a new background. Remember, we started with a flat-looking log image, and this is to give us more latitude for color grading. Right now, our image is already reduced to a screen color space. Let's fix that. Back in Fusion, delete the second CST node at the end. Now copy the first CST and paste it after the merge node. This gives us all the settings we need. We now just have to click on Swap to reverse the order for input and output to go from linear gamma back to our original camera color space and gamma. We can now go to the color page and color grade our clip in whichever way we want. To keep it simple in this example, I will just put a simple Sony S-Log3 to rec.709 LUT on my image. Now, of course, this shot cannot be played in real time anymore due to corridor key. So as a final step, let's look how we can improve that. For starters, I will reduce the quality in corridor key by unchecking the tiling option. But this will not be enough for any form of watchable playback. What we need to do instead is to pre-render this shot. That means it will be rendered to a video file on the hard drive, which then will play back in real time. To do that, right-click on the clip and select the option, Render in Place. Pick a codec and quality setting that suits your needs. Make sure that at least Include Fusion Composition is checked, and then hit Render. Now select a folder where you want to store this video file. After that, Resolve will render your shot to disk. This, of course, can take quite a while depending on your quality settings in corridor key. Let's watch in silence for the next 6 minutes. Just kidding, fast forwarding now. Now that our shot has been cached to disk, let's finally watch it in real time. Looks pretty good already. Of course, this was just the second lowest quality setting. Depending on your hardware, you can go much crazier with the quality settings. Just don't tell me about it. In case you want to do any changes to your shot, you can still go back to the original comp by right-clicking on the clip and selecting Decompose to Original. After your changes, you of course have to render the clip to disk again before you can watch it in real time. As mentioned at the start of the tutorial, you can find the download link to this free plugin in the video description below, and it will take you to this GitHub page. You will find the latest version for both Windows and macOS on the right side, under Releases. On the next page, just scroll down to find the different download links. Alright, that's it. Now go and have some fun with this cool new plugin. A big thank you to Alex, the developer of this plugin. And of course, a giant thank you to Nico of Corridor Crew for coming up with this project in the first place and being so generous to make it open source. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Thank you for watching.